Hi there.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. Yourself?
Good. How did I rename
Good.
my It did not say. Right. Oh, I bet I renamed Nick. That's what I did here. To me. That's not confusing at all. All right. There's Jamie. Perfect. Okay, I'll give people a couple more minutes to get on. Here's Jake. Good. Well, I'm glad you guys didn't get confused. The email Tammy sent about today being a holiday for some businesses confused our instructor. So I'm glad to see that was not the case for you guys. I was a little worried no one was going to show up.
I had to restart my computer, so I'd have to redownload Keynote. So give me like 2 minutes.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, you got time. Perfect. Zoom users, that Zinnia today? Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I was doing the grow training
You're,
also.
you're all good. I just wanted to change your name. So I can see your face.
Sorry.
Now I've got it.
Keller Williams has access to some of the back-end metrics and data.
What was that? Oh, she's okay. Perfect. It wasn't me. Wonderful. I'm missing people. There we go. Lily and Carrie. I saw Caitlin on here, I thought. Where'd Caitlin go? Oh, she's on here. Oh no. Not Sherry. Renaming all sorts of people to random stuff. We're all gonna have fun.
How come you're having to rename everybody?
Well, Sherry, I accidentally apparently named myself, and then I realized I messed that up. But yours said Zoom user, so that's why I renamed you.
I'm going to go off with my phone and I'm gonna go back on my computer now that the other grow is done.
Oh, okay, cool.
Just that way I can see things better.
Were you on Jumpstart?
Yeah. Yeah, I was doing Jumpstart.
How was it?
Actually, she's really good. It was a little complicated
Good.
today because I think she was trying to get everybody to be on the same page. So
Yeah.
yeah. But it's good.
Good, good. That's a new training, so that's great. All right. Play the ding dong sound. Okay, let's get started with our accountability. So we'll do our little accountability check-in and then I'll introduce Nick, our instructor. Sherry, you want to get us started? You're muted, but I think you can unmute. Let's see.
I did 4 open houses this weekend. Got some people in. It was really rainy yesterday. I got drenched putting my signs out.
I believe it. It was a wet one yesterday.
Yeah, but I don't know. There was a few, maybe just a couples that may end up amounting to something. But
Awesome.
I just have to figure out how to convert them.
Yes, all in the follow-up.
Yeah.
Oksana, how's everything with you?
I'm good. I'm still looking for that buyer. We're looking for duplex around the 450 range. And then I am hosting a open house this weekend on Saturday for a friend of mine that has a listing.
Awesome. That's great. Lily, you were busy with open houses this weekend as well. How did they go?
Yeah, they were pretty good. Pretty slow. I think the weather honestly had a lot to do with it too, but they went well. I also met with a lender and somebody that works at Cascade. Just talked with them. So
Good. Those are good. Oops, I just made Nick myself again. Darn it. All right. Emma, can you hear me?
So sorry. Yeah, this weekend I did a lot of planning, which was really good for me to have like a set schedule of what I was gonna do.
Okay.
And then Wednesday I'm going door knocking with the insurance agent, so that'll be exciting.
Yeah, good. Awesome. Perfect. Zinnia, how's everything with you?
Everything's going really good. I drove to Springfield this morning and I'm back in Roseburg.
Lots of driving. Did you have a
I'm gonna-
showing or?
I did a showing and I'm gonna learn how to write a condo today.
Yay. Okay, great. I can help with that. Perfect. Carrie got married yesterday, so she had an exciting weekend, but she was productive as well. Anything else, Carrie, that you want to add?
Not really. We had some showings earlier in the week, at the end of last week, but earlier from today. So far, nothing's coming from them, but it sounds like my listing is like number 2 for 3 people. So we'll see how their offers go for other people and just kind of go from there.
Hopefully they'll circle back or it won't work out for someone.
Yeah. I mean, bad thing to hope for, but yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially.
For you, yeah. Ken, how's business going for you?
Going good. I went to, I think, 5 fire stations here in Klamath Falls this weekend and introduced myself to all the firemen.
Awesome.
Handed out business cards and actually chatted for a couple of them about 45 minutes with the guys.
Great.
And,
Some good contact.
they were kind of excited to get some business cards, so hopefully I'll get something from that. And then I went to the hospital cafeteria and kind of just hung out there for a little bit. I got a name tag with my name and KW on it, and sat there with my laptop and had a few people come by, and I handed them cards and they'd ask a few questions. So I felt pretty positive about that. It's something else I'll do again.
Yeah, it's wonderful. That's good for
And then I
follow-up.
live in a neighborhood of approximately 250 homes. I'm going to go door knocking, hopefully starting this week, on all the doors, and
Perfect.
hand them a card and tell them if they need any help, I'm here to help them.
Excellent. I love it. Lots of great lead gen. Good job. All right, Caitlin, how's everything going with you?
It's going okay. Gonna take the test this week. Just been studying and trying to focus on a couple like of the sections like statutes and stuff like that.
Good. Awesome. Good job. And it sounds like your voice is feeling better. It sounds better at least.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Vaibhav? Can you hear me, Vaibhav? Maybe he stepped away.
Sorry,
Oh, no.
I can. I was trying to turn on my camera. Somehow it's not working. So
You're all good.
I had an open house over the weekend. Again, it was super slow. It wasn't very positive. Not even, it's been on the market for a couple of months. They had a price drop. Location, house, EMA, everything looked good, but nobody showed up.
Darn it.
So, yeah, it wasn't that fun. And apart from that, I'm trying to reach out to people. Had a bold session last week, so yeah, playing along.
Good. Awesome. Jake's one of our newest family members out of the Eugene office, and he's jumped into Bold as well. So you've got some stuff in the works. How's everything looking for you?
Good, Mara. Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. Good. It was a productive weekend and latter part of last week. I had a very good conversation with some family friends who I've known for a really long time. They own kind of little pieces and parts of property all over the country, all over the state. And anyway, just reached out and let them know what I was doing. And they had said that they're looking for some property in kind of Eastern Oregon along the John Day River. And they're also thinking about parting with one of their pieces of property, which they said they'd be more than happy to get my help with both of those things. So I'm going to actually have a sit down with them hopefully next week and talk about that a little bit more. Also had some other positive conversations with some neighbors, also kind of on the fence about maybe selling in another year. So just filling the pipeline.
Awesome. Great. Good job. Jamie is one of our newest agents out of Southern Oregon. He's also been busy and jumping right in. He has a listing coming on this week. Anything else, Jamie, you want to add?
Not a whole lot. I just getting my feet wet again. I did this in 16, 17, and 18, and yeah, I'm just getting ready to go again. So I do got a nice listing coming up into this week. I'm pretty excited about that.
Awesome.
Generate a bunch of business off of that.
Yeah, good. And you went to the Jumpstart training as well this morning too, right?
Yeah, I jumped off about a minute early, but yeah, I was on it.
Good, great. And Karen, how's business going with you?
It's going good. Just closed on a place. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but had a manufactured home that was appraised by a VA appraiser, and independent, of course. And they visited the property not once, well, of course, the first time. Second time they found more repairs, and the third time they still didn't okay it. So it really delayed, you know, for my buyers with their interest rate lock-in. And finally, the last repair, the underwriter was able to convince the supervisor that the last repair could be approved with not visiting, because, you know, a visit would be about $350. And if they have another one in town, which we're in Brookings, a unique area, long distance. So they did get it approved. And oh gosh, I'll tell you, this appraiser, it was just unreal, very frustrating.
Absolutely. Find everything the first time, please.
Yeah, I just couldn't understand that. But anyway, I don't know if rarely does that happen, I hear.
Yeah.
But it is frustrating, and the good news is it closed, and so it now, and I had an open house. My husband and I both have our licenses, and we are actually with Remax. I was sitting here thinking, am I available to train on here? But and he had one across town, and I had one on the other side, and we both came up with buyers, and we had, you know, pretty good traffic. We each got 2 or 3 people coming through, so, you know, they're still looking.
Yeah, great. And Jay Alvarez, what do we got there?
Hi, my name is Julie. I am Katia Lario. She's a assistant. She's a local realtor in Medford, and I'm just here to help her with calling leads. So she did have an open house this weekend. Like most of you said, it was very slow, like no shows.
It was a wet one. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. My poor kid had a football game yesterday evening, and he learned a valuable lesson of, I told him to put undergarments on, like long sleeve and long pants under his jersey and shorts, and he refused, and he's 7, and so he was drenched and wet and cold, and I'm sure he'll say yes next time.
Good mom skills.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is a lesson hard learned, but he still played great, which is great. They won, but all right. So today we have Nick West. Nick was born and raised in Eugene. We actually went to high school together, and Nick's love for the area is deeply rooted in his upbringing. His local insights and in-depth knowledge of the real estate market have made him a go-to agent for those looking to buy or sell in Lane County. He's been licensed in 2020. He actually went through the coaching program just like you guys. He began, that's where it says next. And then in 2023, he was elected as a top producer to the KWALC in Eugene. He served on that for a couple years, and now he is president of a couple other local nonprofit boards. So that's where he spends a lot of his time giving. So really great for strengthening relationships in our community. He's very database driven. So excited for him to teach with you guys today. Definitely ask as many questions as you've got, and soak it all in.
Thanks, Mara.
Okay, hi everybody. Okay, Mara, for one, it's really funny because I don't know if you remember last quarter when I did this class, you had computer issues and had to run into my office to say hello because you
Do
couldn't get
remember
logged
that.
in. And then
Yep.
my computer was freaking out. I completely restored it over the weekend and then was just like, yeah, I'll bring it back in, plug it in. And then I realized, oh, it's totally restored. So I had to like put Zoom on there, get this going, like all in the last 5 minutes. So that was fun. And we're gonna do this with Google Slides today because Keynote didn't load. So, all right, great, cool. So this should be fun. All right, sweet. Let me get a second here to share my screen. Real quick, I guess while I'm getting this going. So yeah, my name's Nick West. Hi everybody. I'm out of the Eugene Market Center. I see a couple people I'm recognizing from being around and also in bold. Jake, hey, what's up? And then yeah, I've been here for, like Mara said, I started February 2020. So it was like a really cool time because I like showed up, got my license and was like, here I am. And then they were like, go home for 2 years, right? So so that was fun. And I had to like learn how to do like remote showings and how to buy and sell a house without anybody even being in it because you weren't allowed to. It was fun. But it was it worked. Uh sorry here. Like I said, it's really funny when you forget that like you have uh you forget that like your computer is like super set up for you basically, and then like all of a sudden you're just like, oh well, sweet, now it's not like how I need it. Okay, somebody tell me what you see. Is it a slide?
Yep. Session
Great.
11.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Welcome. Today, we're going to go over, it's the session 11. So we're going to talk about following up with leads, converting possible business into probable business. Last class, you discussed lead follow-up, communication, purpose of opening the door. Today, we're going to talk about what happens next, right? So once you get a response from a lead, your goal is to convert that lead into an appointment to then get a deal hopefully out of that. After lead generation, lead conversion is pretty much like the most critical activity you need to master. If you don't have appointments, then you don't have a buyer or seller agreement. And then without an agreement, you can't have a sales contract and then you can't do a deal, right? That'll make sense, I'm assuming. And then also really quick, I'll just stop myself here. So I have done this class a bunch of times, right? And so I'll kind of like throw in things here and there, and I'll just kind of keep going with stuff and keep talking. If you have a question, feel free. And the way like my computers, I can't see if you like hit the raise hand button every time, or it pops away really quick. So if you have a question, feel free to just kind of like hop in and be like, oh, I have a question about that really quick. Because like I said, sometimes I don't see, and then 10 minutes goes by and then it's like, oh wait, what was your question? Something from 10 minutes ago. So feel free to jump in. And then if any of you have any like comments or anything too, I mean, feel free. Like I don't love just talking to myself in a little box. So feel free to, like back and forth. If you have any questions, I encourage you to participate, kind of thing like that, which I'm sure you hear all the time, but right. Anyways, today's agenda, what we're going to do, by the end of today, you'll be able to basically apply what we call a lead conversion model, develop your system for capturing, cultivating, converting, and closing leads. Okay. And then we're going to go over some proven methods to increase your conversion rate over time. There's a bunch of time in there also in this to then go lead generate. I'm not going to force us all to stay at the computer and like do that all together, but I will trust that you will then take that next hour to go practice some of these things that we're going to talk about today as well. Okay. But I won't like torture us all and be like, let's make phone calls together. Okay, so we're gonna talk about lead conversion first. So lead conversion is an essential part in the lead follow-up process, right? Often people assume that lead generation and lead conversion are the same thing, and that's not the case. Lead generation is when you turn activities like prospecting and marketing into leads, and then lead conversion is what happens after you have the lead, right? So after you've captured that lead, part of the follow-up, and then getting that lead to convert and have an appointment with you. Like, which again is the goal for everything, because if you're not doing appointments, you're not signing contracts, you're not doing deals. Does that make sense? Any questions? Love it. Here's a slide from Gary Gary Keller himself. The effort you give to converting leads must match the effort you give to generating them. Does that make sense? When you think about that, it's very like you can spend hours and hours and hours finding names and getting leads and putting them in your CRM and putting them in command. But if you're not doing anything with those leads, nothing's happening with them, right? I don't know if you have a participant guide like this or if you're using this, but there is slides that follow along with this in your books or your PDFs, whichever you have, by the way. So converting a lead to an appointment is a process that can happen super fast, although also a lot of the time it happens really slow. Like I've definitely met a client and a week later we're shopping for houses, pre-approved and everything. And I have also been chatting with certain clients for literally 4 years right now that someday, right? The book Shift tells us that consistently getting every possible appointment from the lead you generate isn't complicated, but it does require the proper preparation, practice, and purposeful action. So this starts at the top of this model, this lead conversion model. You have to capture the correct information and enough information to be able to contact that person, right? Then you move on to connecting. So you build a connection, gaining information from that person, and then building trust. And then finally, it ends in closing. Again, closing for an appointment. So like when I say closing, there's like, you're closing your deal, but then this is also you're closing on this like lead. So now you've created an appointment. And without that appointment, you haven't converted your lead. And basically, the other thing too is like when you have this, like you can focus on capture and then connect, but then also in there, you have to continue to cultivate the lead as part of your regular like follow-up programs, right? So I'll talk a little about like follow-up programs, technology, and it will come up more further ahead. But if you don't add your lead to your like CRM or whatever system you use, I use Command, then you won't be able to, then they'll forget about you and then you're not going to get a close out of it. So you have to cultivate that lead as well. After lead generation, lead conversion is the most business critical activity you have to master, right? It's where the possible business that comes from lead generating activities can turn into probable business and ultimately lead into profitable business, okay? So converting the lead to an appointment has so much importance because it's how you have a chance of earning income. Converting appointments to business is also the key for your economic success and having your business, right? Again, there's more of that, like your economic stuff coming further. But until then, we're going to focus on like how you do that, since now we obviously know why, because obviously like you want to make deals and money and all that good stuff. Does that make sense? We all make sense, right? Aha, great. I mean, pretty straightforward, right? Like if you're not doing anything with your leads, you're not going to get any deals from them. Okay. Now we're going to talk about converting a lead into an appointment. Okay, so this is the idea right here, where this is the part where you kind of have to like practice on. It doesn't happen automatically, and there's systems that you can put in place to help you, but it still involves practice, right? This is how you get the groundwork down to like get that actual appointment. So you got capture, right? So at its bare minimum, capturing is collecting like name, phone number, email. That's probably like the most basic things you can get, right? if you are able to add notes also. So even if it's a thing where you're like, I got a phone number and a name, if you can add a note when you put that contact in, also just to be like, oh, they were at an open house for mine, or they called me from a flyer, then that also will kind of help you like cultivate that and know where you're reaching them from. But yeah, at the bare minimum, it should have the name and then a way to get a hold of them, right? Have any of you done any like practicing of getting leads, or how have any of you gotten leads so far? Anyone?
Well, so being new,
Oh,
it's
it's funny. I was
been
literally going to call on you anyways, so great.
being new. It's been it's just been easy to like just reach out to people and say, hey, this is what I'm doing now. And I haven't been super active on social media over the years. Bit of a lurker more than anything. I have another business which I like kind of dedicate some time to, but as far as my personal social media platform, I really haven't done much with that. So it's been honestly, it's been a little bit refreshing to kind of get on there and say, hey, you know, I'm still alive, and this is what I'm doing now. So just reaching out through different avenues, be it social media, text message, getting on like our neighborhood out here where we live has got a closed Facebook group, which I've reached out to all of my neighbors and just, you know, said, hey, this is what I'm doing and I'll be glad to help. And yeah, you know, generated some interest from that, along with just I coach my son's baseball team. And so I know some of the parents that have moved into the area over the last couple of years based on the roster and that sort of thing. So, you know, obviously reach out to those people because I know that they're renting and I know that they're kind of new to the area, and that's generated a lot of interest as well.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I guess kind of, I like forget about that. That's one of the cool things about being new in the business is you have so much time you can spend just reaching out to everyone you already know. And then like now being like, okay, these are all leads, right? Like I'm not having to source out new ones. I got all these right here that I already know that now I can focus on. That's great. Totally. Another great way, open house. So I don't know how many of you have done open houses. I love an open house sign-in sheet. I have a really good one. There's a million out there. You can get templates from Etsy. You can make your own. I have a really good one and kind of strategy for how I do that. We can talk about that later if you want. I can show you mine. But yeah, I love an open house lead capture form. So that way, you know, when someone comes in, you know, if they're working with somebody, which you can then reach out to that agent to tell them they came by, all that good stuff. You know, if they're not, and then it's a great way of getting information, right? You can do social media. Again, previously I come from Apple and tech world where I was like, man, I can't wait to never have to get on Facebook again. And then I became a realtor and was like, oh, I have to get on Facebook more than I ever have. So that's cool. You know what? I will share my open house strategy. Yes, we'll have enough time at the end where we can like circle back around and go over some things. And I will share you mine. I have to find that file in my brand new computer, which is somewhere in the cloud, but we'll get it. And I can kind of talk about open house. You'll also have an open house class coming up that's really good too, just so you know. But I'll talk about mine. But with social media, I don't do social media for like leads necessarily, but I do social media to stay top of mind, right? So like Jake, that's the kind of thing there. It's like you have, 500 friends, they're all kind of like a lead, but I'm not really like waiting for them to message me about that. It's more like maybe, but my goal is to just like stay top of mind with social media, but that's definitely, you can get a response from that. You can send out mailers and flyers. You know, that's a great way. If you haven't done like a neighborhood letter from the heart yet, that's a great thing to do. You should make sure that all of your neighbors know that you're a real estate agent. Don't be a secret agent. Something that it took me like a year or two to do, and my lender told me to do it every time I saw her. She'd be like, did you send it out yet? Is basically just send out what's called a letter from the heart, right? You have to commit to it, but it's just writing a letter to your neighbors being like, hi, this is me. I'm here to help. Sorry if we've never met. If we have, it's me. Now I'm a realtor. And then keep sending something out every month or every other month to just stay top of mind. And then also a lot of agents go by for sale signs, like they're FSBO people. So if they see a for sale by owner, they will call that and then try and get that into a lead, right? That's hard. That's like people definitely do it. Some people buy names. I haven't had good luck buying names, but that's the thing that people totally can do too. You can get names from your escrow company for free. They'll give you a list. If you want to like really narrow it down, then you can, if you really want to narrow it down, you can like pay to get that more. Carrie asked for the letters of the heart. Do you mail them or leave them on their doorstep since they're neighbors? You know what? In a perfect world, that first one I would have walked around to save on postage, and then just like drop it like at the doorstep or like by the little, like door by the doorknob or whatever, like on the knocker. I've also done like pop buys and done like gifts and dropped those off, but I live on a hill and I'm lazy. But so I've actually never like walked a letter around, but my first time I sent, and I basically how I did it too, just so you know, for my letter of the heart and how I market to my neighborhood is you kind of don't realize how many houses are around your house. It's weird. You can be like, oh, there's like 200 houses, and that's a lot of money and a lot of, right? My first letter was like 20, 25. And I just did like to my immediate, and even my neighbors that I knew, and then especially the ones I didn't. And I just mail it out, and I just mail it out with I just mail it out with postage. I use the office postage machine because it's easy, and I think you get a little discount. So if you haven't, each of our offices has one. My office is literally 5 feet away from ours, and you get a little discount on there, I believe. Good question though. Okay, cool. Moving on. I figured out how to open the chat too. So now when you chat, I can see it. So I got like 7 screens going on or boxes, but it's working out. Boom. Okay. So when you're capturing, it's important to know what you're going to say before you start the conversation, especially for like capturing in person, right? Like for an open house or a discussion or somebody calls you, right? It's important to ask what to talk about. So now again, bear with me here. This is your Ignite class. This is like kind of like your 2.0, right? So we're already assuming you're advanced enough. I'm gonna like kind of like cut in and like I do this a lot with this class. 'Cause like I said, I teach this class every quarter, so I keep thinking of adding things. Intake form. Okay. So the answer to that, you make an intake form. Like we'll get to that, but like just make an intake form as soon as you can, because basically you want to practice and know the questions you're already going to ask them, right? So a way to, get a phone number without saying, what's your phone number, right? If I were to need to contact you, what number would that be? Now, this would be like an open house one, right? Again, open house or a soft meet, your hairdresser starts talking about about houses. If I found exactly what you're looking for, how would I contact you? It's a great way of getting an email, right? Because then you're saying that's more than a phone number, because if I need to show you something, what's your email? And if I found that information you're wanting, so if they ask you a question, well, how would I get it to you, right? It's less robotic than saying, what's your phone number, what's your email? There's more than many appropriate times to just say, what's your phone number, what's your email? Again, like on your intake form. But this is like for like a discussion or back and forth, right? To where specifically, like I would do this a lot where it's like you're having a casual conversation, especially like an open house or a grocery store one, right? For the first step of capture, you have to have a system in place, right? Capture all leads in your database and continue to cultivate the relationship using touch campaigns. We'll talk about touch campaigns too. All leads that you get, and rank it like an ABC lead or hot to cold lead. All leads might not be ready for an appointment, right? So your goal is to then gain mind share and have them think about you enough and trust you enough that when they do want to think about buying a house or make that appointment, you're the person they think about. It's not, there's outreach calling and saying, do you have any referrals for me? Or like trying to get business that way. But you also need to be with stay top of mind to the people that are around you that you already know, right? It's continue. Yeah, exactly. So you have to keep mind share and continue to stay in close emotional proximity to that person so that when they do think about it, they think about you, right? When Are any of you, I know some of you are new and some of you are more seasoned, are any of you using a CRM like Command or Constant Contact or any of those? Great. Somebody who's using one, what's the one that you use?
Katia uses Lofty.
What is, oh, Lofty? Okay, cool. Okay, totally. I've heard of that one. Yeah. And then has anybody heard Constant Contact, Top Producer? Personally, I use Command. I drank the KW juice and I pay for it basically every month kind of automatically with my tech package. So I use Command. I've been here for 5 years now, and I can tell you that when I first started, Command was not what it is today. It's significantly better. It takes leaps and bounds. It's what I use for my CRM. When I add somebody to my CRM, and okay, again, sorry if you're new to this, a CRM, I believe, stands for Client Relations Manager, right? So what that is like that is your, you have your contacts in your phone, but they're not really doing much there. Your CRM is where you put all those contacts, you put notes, you put them on plans, you put notes of when you call, you email through that, it tracks your email, it tracks how much you talk to them, right? So if you don't have one already set up, you do, it's your Keller Williams Command, but get in there and use it. My goal is to put as much stuff as I can in there as possible. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, right? And there's times where I will go a long time without putting anything in there. And but when I put somebody in my contact now for my phone, even it's like first name, last name, business. I put a note down there, say where I met them. I might put a parenthesis to be like, met this person at the Flying Squirrel, like stuff like that, right? Just so I know that when I put them in my command that I have as much possibly as I can on them. Makes sense. The second step after capturing all that information is to connect with the person, right? So connecting is about laying the foundation for a working relationship, okay? So you can have all the friends in the world, but you also want a professional and working relationship. What is important during this step is to listen, okay? Ask good questions, offer solutions, keep the focus on the conversation on them. People love to talk about themselves. And it's really easy to like not even see yourself doing it, but like have a conversation with somebody and then take a step back and look at yourself and be like, my God, how many times did I like not even on purpose try to one-up them? Like you're talking about vacations and they're like, I did this vacation, it was so cool. And then you're like, oh my God, I did this vacation, it was so cool too. Blah, 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 blah. Instead, you could just be like, tell me more about that vacation you took, right? And that definitely like helps build a trust to it. And people obviously want to hear what you have to say too, but like people also want to talk about themselves and want you to listen. A lot of people don't know how to listen. Truly, they don't. The goal of the communication, in addition to building the relationship, is to determine the urgency, right? So now that you have this lead and now that you're trying to connect, this is where you kind of be like, are you a hot or cold lead, like an ABC? You want to have them give you enough information to know how to prioritize that lead and then help you know what type of touch campaign or smart plan you want to put them on. I'll say the term touch campaign. That is what we call it in Ignite. I'll also say smart plan. That is what Keller Williams Command calls a touch campaign. We'll get to this soon, but when I say that, if you're not familiar, a touch campaign is like a plan where I will email, text, or call, communicate with a lead, right? And you'll say a really popular one is called a 33 touch. And that means you will touch or reach out to that person 33 times in a year and it's scheduled. A 33 touch is really hard to do. I know one person who's really good at a 33 touch campaign. And of all people, I'm not shitting you, it's Mara. So you're in a great place to ask a person about that because a lot of people talk about their touch campaigns all day long, right? But I know for a fact that Mara does them and she's very good at it and she's like very strict on it too, which you have to be, otherwise you'll get lazy and not do it. So if you ever have a question about that, we'll follow up. Ask me. I love a touch campaign, and also Mara is really good at them. We do different kinds. Also, I'm very digital. She's way better at like physical and paper. So yeah, we do different, but we're both big fans of them. Yeah.
Is that 33 touch the same thing as the 36 touch?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Okay. Thank
you.
you.
And like literally, it's like there's a million different names, right?
Yeah.
You're right. It's 36 touch now. My bad. That changed.
No, I didn't mean to do that.
No, you're good. And then like when you get into your smart plan and your command, it's like start. There's 11 touch. There's like your quarter calls. So there's a bunch of different names, but yeah, like the most popular Keller Williams one that we like to use is the 36 touch, right? It used to be a 33 touch. I think somewhere in there they decided you should add 3 events, and that's what the 36 goes from. So you add 3 client appreciation events. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, when you connect with this lead, you will then start to learn like what, how to prioritize this lead and what kind of they're looking for, whether it's like they might be a future seller, a future buyer, both, whatever. And as you communicate and connect, you can keep these practices in mind right here, these best practices. Highlight them in your book, write them down, okay? So you want to embed your value proposition into the conversation to position yourself as the local expert, okay? What that means is you're the expert, okay? A lot of us are new. A lot of us don't think we're the expert. You just getting your license, you know so much more than most people, okay? So you're already an expert. Go for it. And you're with KW, so you have so much support, which is also great. Build, have the confidence to know what you're saying, right? I hate role playing. It's terrible. Especially hate role playing with like, it's horrible. How I forced myself to do role playing and figure like get what we like to call accountability buddy is I have my lender. So my lender, we both started a long time. She's actually been in this way longer than I have, but we go back, way back. Apple days, working at the mall back. She is always hungry for business. She wants business and she doesn't succeed unless I do. So she's like my like unofficial coach, right? Like literally she'll call me, we'll just go over stuff. Find somebody like that for you. Whether it's like, if you don't have like a lender friend who is also into like coaching and growing, find that person and practice with them, right? And they'll help you have talking points for things that you might not think about or on the money side or vice versa. Like you might have something that you learned from the class that they didn't know. And that's a good person to like keep and practice with kind of, right? And again, you can practice with yourself too. Like I said, role playing is tough, but all it is basically just knowing what answers to have and then sorry, my phone's ringing. Hopefully it doesn't dive in on this. Like having the answers kind of ready and just kind of knowing what to say and knowing the market data, right? Like the amount of people that are going to ask you, what's the market like? And you just say, good, like, okay, why? And then you want to be able to like speak to that kind of. And then you want to use what's called backward design when you're thinking about talking to these leads, okay? So you want to think about the outcome before you even start the question, right? So you're like, okay, what do I want to get out of this? I want to get their timeline and what they're looking for. So you think about your questions before to kind of just like guide where their answer is going to be versus just starting and like shooting the yes and not getting anywhere, right? That makes sense. So connecting is more than small talk, right? Your communication should answer the 6 basic questions. So think about these, right? And these are kind of running in the back of your mind. Who are they? What do they want or need to do? Where do they want or need to do it? Why do they want or need to do it? When do they want? And how do they plan to do it, right? You can get a lot out of there. So, and these are also things that like you're going to remember and put in your notes. And this is going to gauge your speed or like their urgency, right? Like, why do they want to buy a house? We're going to have a baby. when do they plan on doing it? Well, we should probably have it within 8 months from now, like something like that, right? So that these are great ways to figure out, and then how to plan on do it. A lot of times you'll get bogged down talking to somebody where you forget to ask them how. So don't waste your time doing that. It's hard because like sometimes you're like, I'm hungry for it, right? Don't go show a house before you know they can actually buy it. It'll happen. You'll get people here and there that'll just be like, oh, I want to check this out. And then you're like, okay, now let's talk to a lender. And that lender's like, this is never gonna happen. But yeah, these questions help whoever you're talking to like open up, right? They they may or may not work specifically for you in that situation, but just know like this is your goal. So you don't have to like specifically go down the line and ask these questions, but this is your goal in the end, right? If you practice these conversations, that is a good way to kind of feel more natural and not so robotic. And then if you can't, if you're like having a hard time kind of making a connection or knowing what to say, you can think about FORD, which you probably have gone over yet. FORD, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. And so it's a good way to just kind of be like, get answers out of people, and it's open up questions. Anything that you ask them about the FORD questions are not really yes or no answers, right? It's like gets them to open up and get talking. So use that a lot. I literally have a sticky note like right here that says FORD on it. So, and that's been there. It's really faded. It's been there for like years. And I still like think of that. Yeah, this is all in your guide. So I guess the practice with that. And then, like I said, if you can, there's a command app now too, which is great. But like I said, if anything, just if you put a contact in your phone, try to put as much as you can, even in your like phone's contacts. So when you transfer it over, it'll have information. Or if you're like on the computer or like by a computer and you're having a phone call or doing anything, open up command and just have it going. So be sure to document the conversation as much as you can and the outcome of it, and do it as fast as you can, because yeah, I will. Sorry, question was, can you get a copy of the guide? I will send, I only have on this computer, the PDF of this little class. I will have Mara send you one. She can send you the whole thing. Let me write that down so I don't forget to tell her. Yeah, so you want to try and do it also as quickly as you can, because you don't forget stuff, right? If you keep a strong, well-documented record of your communication, it'll also let you know like how to move the relationship forward and kind of be like assess where the relationship is at, right? It's also how you can come from contribution. So there's a whole thing about coming from contribution, right? Like a lot of times when I'll do like my quarterly call, I'm not calling to say, hi, do you have any referrals from your business? I'm literally calling previous clients to say, anything I do? Do you need anything? How are you doing? I'm not asking them for anything. It's not a sales call. I'm coming from contribution. I'm saying, is there anything I can do and contribute to your life to help, right? And when you take notes on your previous calls, it's really easy to then follow up later and come from contribution, because then you know like the name of their kid or their dog or something, right? Like things that are important to them that you might forget their name of their pet, or you know they have one. And it helps you assess how to prioritize the lead as well. Sorry, my phone is going crazy. Okay, yeah, so cultivate. Your goal in using the conversion model is to move as fast as you can from capture to connect to close, right? Love it. Not how it goes every time, most of the time. You'll find that a lot of your leads are like not ready to convert into an appointment. And that means that, I mean, you can discrepancy on what like an appointment is. Like you can call an appointment, I just went to coffee with this person. That's an appointment. Or you can be like, and you can say, okay, well, like a very small amount of leads, I can't convert to an appointment to like go have coffee. But you can actually do a large amount of that. A smaller amount will be like, let's go to an appointment exclusively to talk about buying or selling a house and sign a buyer's agent agreement, right? But Yeah, so here's this quote here from Shift. You can't know or predict when they will come to a decision, but if you're reconnecting with them in a systematic way, you'll have a great chance of being there when they do, right? That's when you'll be able to close for that actual appointment. There's a really smart lender that I know, and she's not even a lender anymore. She like runs the company, but something that she always used to talk about. And so don't Google, don't tell me if I'm wrong on this. I might be wrong, but I trust her, and it's been in my head forever. She's always said, people forget about you after 21 days. So on day 22, they're not really thinking about you anymore. So for her and her model, and like I said, it's stuck with me obviously forever, is if 22 days goes by and you haven't even just said hi or texted or emailed or touched or had them think about you, they're not really thinking about you right now, generally. And like I said, I literally, I think about that also like once a week or daily. That lives rent free in my brain is 21 days. And that's how you like want to obviously keep mind share, right? So here's a little note on my thing that says you've talked about touch campaigns. So 19 to connect, 1 to cement, 36 to convert. These are things you can leverage to keep cultivate that relationship. As you start to implement your touch campaigns, you can always change and make your own campaigns to fit your own needs, right? Like, I don't love a phone call. I know I have to do it, but I will sometimes like edit mine to be like, okay, well, I'm not going to call them this month. We'll skip a month. I'll do a text and an email kind of thing, right? But yeah, I recommend like like I said, everybody get in there, use command, use KW, start a campaign. We'll go over some of these. I know there's a class coming up too, but I really like them, so I'll like sneak peek into it. One time I got in trouble for talking too much about smart plans. But yeah, I would say like as soon as you can, get in there, start at least 1 or 2 of the easiest ones. There's ones that are pre-built for you too. Slide. Closing is when you ask for that appointment, right? Think of it in the framework, right? You're concluding a conversation and seeing that there's a new one that can take place. So it's your responsibility to try and make that new one take place, right? When you're asking for an appointment, which format do you think is the most effective? Anybody? Sweet. Yeah, it's actually, okay, so the most is going to be in person, then a phone call, then a text, then an email, right? These days, as Jake knows, like you can really count a text. A text that is replied to is almost as good as a phone call these days to certain people, right? The least effective option are basically the writing ones though, right? So your email is the least effective for getting an emotional connection. That being said, there's plenty of people that get at least 1 email from me every month. That's just for mind share, but that's not really building my relationship, but that's just to stay top of mind. Phone calls and in person are going to be the best for like actually converting that, because sometimes it's hard for people to say no also. Not even that you're like pressuring, like they just might need that little push to actually say yes or like be asked if they want to do it, right? When you're setting an appointment, what are important elements to schedule, right? So you should always try and like schedule an appointment fast too and try and be detailed, right? So you're not just looking for a yes, right? You want to schedule the appointment at the convenience. You want to get the date, the time. You don't want to be like, let's get coffee next week. If you can, let's be like, let's get coffee. What's your schedule looking like? How about next Wednesday? I'm sure you've already gone over this. If it's, one thing in real estate, you kind of live by your calendar, right? So I have my calendar, I reference it 20 times a day, right? Yeah, so pretty obvious there. But yeah, schedule an appointment. And then one thing to like keep in mind when you have that appointment too is, again, you're gonna like use open up questions. You're not just gonna talk about yourself, but you're also gonna want to like talk about your and like figure out what you want to talk about. So you know that like you want to talk about buying or selling, right? This is not necessarily a buyer consultation. This is just getting to that point where they even want to do that, right? And And then you can be like, okay, now let's actually talk about a buyer consultation or seller consultation in depth. Quote, Gary Keller from Shift, in the end, if they can meet and have a good time enough and a reason to meet, they will meet, right? If they don't, they won't. That's okay. You don't really care what their answer ultimately is because you're not getting people to do anything they don't want to do. Well, my brain. You're just going to ask and respond until they agree to that meeting with you. Wait, sorry. You're just going to ask and respond until they agree that meeting with you makes sense or it doesn't, right? Either way, you win there. So you don't have to like I said, you're not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone's going to love you. Not everyone's going to say yes. How you have these appointments and these meetings and these open up questions is to figure that out, right? That being said, I've had meetings for people that I was like, I don't know if we're gonna get along. I don't know how this is gonna go. And they were at my house last week at a barbecue. You know what I mean? Like they were at my end of summer barbecue. And I literally was like, I am never gonna be friends with Maya. And that's the person I'm actually talking about. And Maya's a really good friend of mine now. Whoa, I just spilled coffee. Cool. 1 second. 1 second. Take a 5. No, actually take a 2. It's fine. We're good. Luckily, I just spilled it on my like mat. Just get this sticky coffee off my lap here. Okay. Oh, well, slide. Ahas, great. Does all that make sense? Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to be honest here, which if it's not clear to you already, everything I'm saying is like pretty obvious, right? It's like, duh, I need to like make friends and be in relationships, but you actually have to do it, right? So that's the thing. So like, I know like what I'm saying, you could be like, wow, this guy's just talking about this. And it's like, yep, because that's literally kind of your job now. Like it literally is your job now to like be buddies and have friends and ask questions and get people to open up with you now. And like I said, it seems really obvious, but you can go years in real estate or months and lead gen, get all these names and not do anything because you're not actually doing anything to those, which like I said, sounds obvious, but boom. Okay. Improving your conversion rate. So now we're going to get a little mathy for a second. It's not bad. So here's the model, right? And the steps and the actions to do it. Okay, now we're going to dig deeper into like what conversion rate actually is and how it can inform your business decisions. Your conversion rate refers to the, I'm reading now. Your conversion rate refers to the percentage of leads you ask for an appointment to those that agree to the appointment. Okay. Example, you may ask 10 leads for an appointment. You get 8 appointments. That's an 80% conversion rate. Easy. Your ultimate goal is to increase your skills so that you can convert at the highest percentage possible. The higher the percentage, the more leads you've converted to appointments. If you're converting at a low percentage, this should tell you that you have a lead conversion challenge. The challenge is not the number of leads you're generating, but your ability to get them to an appointment. Okay? That makes sense? Questions? Cool. When I'm probably like going ahead of myself right here, but when you, for your business, think about your conversion rate, that could be different for everybody, right? Especially if you are somebody who's like, great, I'm going to take these 1,000 names that I don't know have like not Mets and try and convert them. That's going to have a way lower conversion rate than somebody that has been in the business for 20 years, only has 100 people in their CRM and it works exclusively off of referrals, right? Then they're going to have a very high conversion rate and that's just their business. Your conversion rate for your appointments is also going to be different than your conversion rate from like your deals and your actual like things happening. Sometimes the lead conversion is, here, that's what I said, and I read. Sometimes the lead conversion is based on your total number of leads in your database, and sometimes it's based on who you're cultivating right now, right? So if you have 1,000 people in your database and you're working with 2 of them, okay, then that's pretty low. And that could be your number for your business. Or you could be like, I have 1,000 people in my database. I'm actively working 5 of them. I've ranked them as something's happening. And then if you can get 3 of them or 4 of them, then you can say, okay, so that, I got 4 out of my 5. So that, again, that's just for your business, how you do it. What is important is to evaluate your business and what works for you. And then repeat that measure for yourself to that's how you can then see your conversion rate, right? My conversion rate, and again, this is only just because I came from Apple and I had to live in conversion rates with transactions in Apple, tables and stuff. And my conversion rate is based off my entirety. So I have my whole command, my whole database, and then I go, okay, well, I'm working with this one person. So my conversion rate is like very low, but that's how I gauge it for my business. That makes sense. Boop. Okay. How can you improve your conversion rate? Once you understand what it is, whoa, sorry, did I skip the thing? Oh, nope, okay, we're good. Once you understand what it is, then you can basically work on how to improve it, right? So this is kind of when you get more like purposeful at improving your conversion rate. So you gain your insight, and then you kind of can figure out like which activities, business activities you're doing that might be like working for you or not working, right? You can, one of the things, like I said, how to improve it is to use conversations and systems, right? So, to time block. Time block, time block, time block, time block. Set a time every day to lead gen, whether it's 1 hour or 4 hours. Don't do 4 hours, you'll burn out. Time block. Again, this is funny. Right before I stopped working at Apple, I was running this one store. I had like 30 employees, and all of a sudden they were like, okay, we're gonna do this thing called time blocking, where you need to literally schedule out every single person's day down by like the every 30 minutes. And I was like, kill me. And now I do it now to myself. It's fun. So that didn't go anywhere either. And that's like, obviously, I truly believe by living by a schedule too. Use conversations, practice the conversations, practice dialogues, practice asking for the appointment. Practice your buyer and seller presentations. I don't know if you guys have talked about that yet, but we can touch that too. I have some killer buyer and seller presentations that I got from other agents that I spent a long time making my own. And I have practiced it, and I am so I'm not like I'm the best, but when I go into a listing presentation, I feel like I would not be mad at somebody if they didn't pick me, because I know that I did like the best I could do, and something with like I'm braggy enough at this point with my listing presentation because I've practiced it, I know it, I've done it enough times where I'm like, if you don't want to list a house with me, that's on you. You know what I mean? Like and that's fully, I would never say that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, right? Because it was, it takes a minute. You have to practice it over and over and over. You have to just know the answers. And that's like one that I have fully practiced and mastered, is my buyer and seller presentations. Conversations are a powerful tool that can help you say what you intend to say the most powerful, impactful way, right? So when you think about it, you're going to make the most out of it. And then also use systems that support lead conversion in your business, right? So use the systems that are available to you, like Command, like your CRM, your notes, your smart plans. Do all of that. Like, use those systems. They're totally there for you. Don't neglect your database, okay? So reconnect with each person. And when you do, if you can, try to get a referral, right? So conversation activities are not just for leads, they're also for your sphere of influence, your best friends, your mom, your dad, your uncle. Come from care, come from curiosity, come from contribution, get back in a relationship with past clients. So I learned one time, it was a punch in the face, because I went to this like class, this like mega agent, and we were talking about like, what do you do when you haven't talked to somebody in a while? And you're like, that's my bad. Like, why have I not talked to this client in a year? And he basically was like, suck it up, call him, and you literally be like, oh my God, I suck so much. I'm the worst. I haven't talked to you in a year. I don't know what I'm. Blah, 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 blah. Do you think they're going to be mad that you did that? No, they're going to like love it. In fact, they'll probably be like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's a great way to reconnect. It's very scary the first time you do it. He literally made us do it in front of each other in a room. But boy, let me tell you, once I got that exposure, I was like, well, now it's not hard anymore. But yeah, it's super easy to like, right? Just, and again, if you're coming from care and curiosity, it's not like you're selling them or calling your old client that you haven't talked to and been like, you got any names for me? You're just being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. What can I do? Do you need anything? How's the house? Da, da, da. How's the kid? All that stuff. And then prioritize your qualified leads, right? So know who to prioritize. So yeah, like I said, you got to prioritize converting qualified leads while still working the rest of your database, right? So you obviously want to like hit your A's and B's or your ones and two, however you rate them first. Make sure those are taken care of, and then work on your other ones that if they're like, oh, that one I got to get to, right? But don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Boop, boop. Every lead has the potential to turn into business, and not that you've already heard this before, right? But there's no bad leads, right? So with this model, you should know, and you should know to capture the appropriate information so you can connect with that lead, right? Can't just get a name and half of an email. You gotta get enough to actually reach out. You have to connect to assess the needs and build a relationship, right? You have to cultivate the relationship. Not all people are gonna immediately go and want to buy a house or talk houses. So put them on a campaign to stay top of mind. And then you're going to eventually close by asking for that appointment. So you're in control of that ask too. There's a lot of times where it's really easy to not ask for the business or not be like, do you want to know more information? Truly, there's people out there that they're not going to ask you. They're kind of waiting for you to ask because there's people out there that because you're working, because you're on Facebook, because you're doing this, you could literally like call your uncle and have a conversation and they wanted to ask you, but they're like, you know what? Emma's really busy. I'm not going to ask her right now. She's too busy. And then Emma's like, well, shit. He's like, doesn't want to, and then, you know what I mean? Like, but if you were to just be like, how's it going? House, this and that. And they're like, well, you know what? I mean, they need that to even open up to you, right? So don't be afraid to ask. Again, it's not like if you're coming from contribution, you're not selling them anything, right? You're literally helping. I say that all the time. Like I don't sell houses at all. This is very like live, laugh, love of me, but it's like I don't literally don't sell houses at all. I like help you on the journey of getting your house and coach you through it. And I'm your unlicensed therapist and you're unlicensed, like I open doors and help with contracts. Within 5 minutes if you want to like buy the house or not. Take 20 minutes to talk about what you could do to it, but like, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm not selling houses. I'm like helping, literally. Oh, that all makes sense, right? Easy? Questions? Anything? Are you blown away by how easy this is? I'm just kidding. Like I said, I'm making it sound easy, but also like you gotta get out there. Okay, here, I'm gonna read this part here. Wrap up our system. Okay, so hopefully you all feel like you know the model. The model is 3/4 steps, right? Super easy. You, like I said, think about, and this will change, right? But think about your business and the business that you want to have and where you can reach out for that and what you can come from contribution, right? So say you're like a dog person, okay? You love dogs. That can be part of like your shtick, okay? So like now you just know that like, okay, if somebody knows I'm a dog person, this and that, that's gonna be the notes. Then you're gonna reach out to like dog people and base it like that. You kind of want to like I said, figure out where your business is and who you want what you want your business to be, right? Yeah, and then also those questions, those like 6 questions, again, it's like super easy. Those are obvious, like everybody knows those 5 W's, 6 W's, right? But actually ask them. Take a like step out of yourself, try to see yourself and be like, am I talking too much? Do I need to listen more? Is this obvious? But I'm like, not, I'm just right now, just in it right now. I'm a millennial Virgo. Of course I have a talking, I don't, I like, yeah, let's go. I'll talk all the time. And so I literally myself will have to be like, all right, am I being too much right now? Yeah, okay. Like, but it's good to like be able to see that. Hold on 1 second here. Next part, we're gonna like kind of roll through so we can then chat about some stuff after that. Because this is where it's gonna be like, we're gonna talk about what you're gonna do later today and going forward, and then we'll take a step back and see if we have any stuff to talk about that we've gone over. So each day in Ignite, you grow and how you think, you feel, and you implement what you've learned, right? From learning your ahas to what you need to move your business forward, what you want in your life, what your big why is, what your goals are. Take time to reflect on that, right? Like it's easy to just be like, I want to do everything. You can't do everything as far as lead gen. You can't have a farm to your neighborhood and your mom's neighborhood. You can't be on social media buying ads. You can't be buying Google ads. You can't be buying Zillow ads. You can't only do cold calls, or you can't do that all. You have to like find something that works for you, right? We will get advertised every day, multiple times a day, all this money that you can spend to make your business better, like buy these leads, buy these whatever, right? I've done it. I've been through it all. I've paid whoever $500 for a year to send me leads. Nothing. That being said, there are lead generation sites that I have used where I don't pay per year or month or lead, but I pay in a referral fee. I have gotten deals from those. It kind of sucks because sometimes the referral fees are a little high. Like there was a lead gen something I was in for like nonprofits, and they take 40%. But it's like if I get 2 deals from that a year and it's a pretty like solid quick deal, it's like I want to buy a house. I'm moving from here to here because I'm an executive director. I need to buy a house next week. Sweet, take my 40%. Like that's better than nothing, right? You know what I mean? But like as far as like paying for stuff, and I'll tell you till I'm blue in the face, people will tell you, you're going to do your own thing. If you want to pay somebody, go for it. We've all done it. Like I said, I literally have paid and I'm like, I'm going to get rich from this thing, right? If you're going to pay for anything, pay for like a class or a coaching session or like something where you have accountability, not where somebody's going to like, oh, you give me money and then I'm going to make you rich. It doesn't usually work out that way, right? But, and like I said, that kind of goes to where you can't do everything. Find something for you, right? Take the time. Take notes on what you were doing and what you're getting out of it, and that will also like help you decide what you need to do going forward, right? Click that. Yeah, like I said, taking time to reflect on all this stuff is actually pretty important because then you know where your goal is and your big why, right? Like everybody's big why is like, oh, I want more money, but then it's like, why do you want more money? Think about that, and like, what kind of broker do you want to be, right? Okay, so this is the fun part, right? Because right now I'm supposed to torture you for the next hour to go over and like, we're gonna do call lists and we're gonna make calls and we're gonna like update our databases and all that good stuff. But I'm not gonna force us to do that because I hope that you can all do that on your own, right? So I'm not gonna torture us for the next 2 hours doing that because I know which is funny, since 2 hours, we're gonna make it 2 hours. But the other thing that I will say, and it's really hard, is like, do find a buddy to just have some sort of role playing with. Not even role playing. I don't even just say role playing because then you're like, okay, I'm going to be the one that says no, right? It's more just like have a buddy and just have the conversations. Like, just kind of know your answer from when somebody's like, why should I buy a house? Like you're like, oh, okay, because you're investing in your future. You're building all this, you're building wealth. Like have your what you want to say to that. So like not like I said, not role play, but it's more just like getting comfortable talking about it. Like I said, the first time I went and did a listing presentation, like I went to somebody who was like, I want to sell my house, let's talk about it. I was probably so nervous, so anxious, didn't know what I was talking about, was all over the place. And now it's like I can go in blind with my little packet and be like, boom. And that's just fully from practicing. But yeah, so boom, here you go. This is where you're gonna like move into this. So you know your 10 conversations, your 10 contacts, your 10 handwritten notes. Okay, here's one from me. This is me talking to you. Handwritten notes. Okay. Do it. People don't actually do it. Nobody does it. Do it. It's pretty cool. You know who does it? Mara. She's really good at it. So many people will talk about a handwritten note, and like, I'm not even joking. Think about when you get a card in the mail, right? With a note card, and they're like, hi. And these can be for anything. Literally, like, thanks for taking my call. And I know sometimes too, it's like hard to you can get kind of stuck in this, like, well, let me like meet with a broker, getting business from other businesses can be tough because you're like wasting time, like when you're talking to lenders, because like they're wanting you to give you leads, but you're wanting them to give you leads. But like literally, I will go have lunch with my escrow officer and I will send her a card to say, good to see you having lunch. Thanks for having lunch. I have this right here is a box of happy birthday cards. I have happy birthday, a box every time I'm in the office. I have birthday plans set up. It tells me when to write a card and when to mail it out. Easy, done. That's a box of birthday cards. This is a box of thank you cards right there. Thank you cards, like for anything, literally anything. And people love to get them because people don't do it. And like people think they do, but then they totally don't. And then when you do send that card out, you make sure you make a note of that in your CRM and say, I sent them a card this day. Because then that's a way to contact them. Did you get my card? Right? And cute things like that. Your hand gets tired easily. Is there a program we can use that simulates handwritten? Yes. Okay. I'm left-handed, so I'm like very like smear based, right? So I hate writing a card. I have for my birthday cards, I have like 4 things that I always write. It's like the same thing. So I kind of almost have like a script on my cards and I try to make it short. During COVID, when I was stuck at home, I got a Cricut machine, which is like a cutting machine. And I also found out that you can like stick a pen in there and have it like write for you. I mean, overpriced, right? It's expensive. Like it's like $300 thing to write. But if you have a Cricut, you can do that. There's companies that do cards and there's a bunch of them out there. Oh my God, Jake, what's the one from Bold? That one seemed, I haven't messed with them, but there was one that was, somebody mentioned it to us, and I'm referring to Jake because Jake and I are both in Bold right now. And they were talking about it. I can get you a name of it, but they're also the ones that Summit Funding either used or uses. And Summit Funding does a bunch of handwritten cards. I've gotten cards that like, they're pretty convincing, but it's, printed, but it looks pretty good and it looks handwritten and the envelope is handwritten on. But there are, I can't remember what it is. Oh yeah, you got married. That's right. How was your wedding?
Wedding was good. It went great. A little nervous at first, but it went great.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, you know what's funny? I'm gonna totally try that service just for fun because there was like a coupon, and I'll get if you guys want to try it. I'll send the link out to you in an email, and then you can try it out. It was like Bold special, but it was obviously just a KW link. You can also print on them. So if you get like a Brother printer or like a backfeed printer, it will be inkjet, so it might be smeary. But if you get like a backfeed printer, you can put a card in there and then just have it print in a font that looks like handwriting, right? So there's that option too. Sorry, so that was my tangent right there. Write 10 notes. first job real estate agent is lead generate, because that's where everything comes from. We know about this. Let's talk about TCPA. I'm sure you hear this all. Oh, it is amcards.com. Cool. Great. Thank you. And then I think it was like amcards.com/KW, and that's where like the coupon was or something. Do you all know how to do the registry? It sucks. It's really annoying, but do it. And the only reason, like, obviously, because you have to, but like, it's really a stressful moment when you accidentally send someone a text from your CRM and then they reply to your CRM like a really snarky, weird, mean, stressful thing. Like, I've totally had that happen to me. And I knew, well, you know what? They're actually not going to sue me for everything I'm worth because I did check it against the TCPA thing, right? But like, I've literally sent out like I think last year I sent out a Thanksgiving text and somebody replied that was so nasty and wild. I was like, wow, if I accidentally sent them that text and didn't actually check it, I would be like, they're literally gonna sue me. It was insane. And it was like so rude. And it was somebody that I kind of knew too. Anyways, but can't do it. But yeah, so do this. If you don't know how to do it, talk to Tammy Sue or whoever is Tammy Sue is the one that taught me how to do it the fastest way. It's really annoying though. Or ask Mara. I think she probably knows how to do it too. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. I love that. That's a good affirmation right there. That's a good quote. This is where you're going to role play for 20 minutes. I'm not going to do that. When this, I will say this slightly here, like this is prep for when you do your lead gen. So, well, I'll talk about this in a second too, but yeah, there's like preparation for like your docs and your forms and your business's forms, right? And then, so like this right here, you know, your daily lead gen consists of 3 parts, okay? Prepare. So who you're going to talk to that day, what you're going to try and do, what your goal is for that day, okay? Taking action is to actually do it. That's the hard part, is to actually do it. And then what's cool is if you can take action on that day, your 3rd step of like your lead gen day is to maintain. It's way less intimidating once you get that take action and you're like, I've called a couple of people, I'm on a roll now. Maintaining and calling other people you haven't talked to or sending a text, it's just like that just flows at that point. And that's just easy. But yeah, like prepare for what you're going to talk about basically, or what you're going to do for the day. Again, this is how you can roll gen. In your little workbook, there's topics that you can go over here. So like with this role play, and like I said, this I would like find a buddy, just have a conversation. And it's more like practice, just like meeting up, asking for a coffee, reconnecting. Take notes of your conversation, right? So Emma, you're talking to Jake, and then at the end, you be like, okay, Jake, here's the notes I got from this, just from like just having a conversation, right? You're not like so you don't have to like role play and be like, okay, I'm gonna be the one that says no. And it's just practicing to get comfortable, basically. When you do your follow-up, so this is the maintain portion, right? So when you do your follow-up, this is like, take 30 minutes a day to do it, whatever's good for your business. And then this is when you can also follow up with notes, call people, and then putting the notes that you did all this in your CRM or command, right? I will go in there really quick and we can go over and look at some of that stuff too, just for funsies. And then you're going to celebrate your successes. In command, if you haven't done this part yet, the connect tab is really cool. There's a bunch of videos on how to do stuff, and it's really comprehensive now. I think like last year they updated them, so they're way better videos. And then if you have an issue in your command, there's a little like question mark at the bottom that looks like it's like a chat, but it's actually a real chat, like not a bot chat. And I've had weird things be like, what is going on? Am I crazy? And I literally just chatted the person and they were like, nope, you're not crazy. This is how you do it. Or yes, you're doing it wrong. This is how you do it right. Right. So totally do that. And then there's also like the tech, like the tech trainings that they do. I think they're like weekly or every other week, and you can just hop on there and they're just command tech trainings, and they're just kind of fun because it's like whatever week they talk about is just some update and command. Your next session, which I don't know if that's tomorrow or the next day, is going to be talking about building even more on those relationships. I'm assuming they're going to talk about smart plans and stuff there. Boom. Okay, I'm closing this for a second, and then we're going to dive back in for just something else. I just said so many words to all of you so fast. How are we doing? Are we okay? Okay, sweet. Does anybody have any questions or anything that came up, or just random question, like stuff like that? I'm gonna drink the rest of my cold, half-spilled coffee here. Okay. Because I had tech issues, I didn't quite catch the very beginning part of how long everybody's been in the game. I know Jake is new. Well, give me like just a quick, like who's been here? Who's the newest? Who's a baby?
I got licensed, I think, like the beginning of August, so I've only had my license for like a month, 2 months.
Yay, cool. Welcome. Awesome. Cool.
I've had mine for 2 months.
Sweet. Awesome. Love it. Cool. Okay, then what I'm gonna do, so just to bounce off for like, this is like where now I'm gonna do like my rant and take a little bit of time just to be like, this is how I do my business, right? And again, you don't have to do that, but I'm another broker coming at you with what I think works for me and things that I've tried to do, right? So for me, I like how I stay top of mind for me is I do smart plans, and I do smart plans through command because, like I said, I already pay for them. And then how I stay top of mind in the community for me is I volunteer. So I'm a big volunteer guy. I'm a big event guy. I throw events. I throw friends and family and like client appreciation events. I do 2 a year at least because they get expensive. And then I also am, I guess technically you could literally say I'm an event producer now because I do, I volunteer a bunch. So because of that, I got kind of drafted onto some nonprofit boards, and I throw almost all the events on all the boards that I'm part of. So that's kind of like my vibe, right? It was really funny. Somebody the other day was in one of the classes I went to, they were talking about this person who they also kind of sound like they did events, and they bought like, I don't know what it was, like a blow up. They bought like a blow up something, and then they stuck their sticker on it, and then people kind of knew that they owned this like blow up bounce house, and that was kind of like how they went with that, right? I own a photo booth. And the reason I own the photo booth is because I used to do a photo booth for an event. And then I was like, why am I paying $2,500 for 1 day of use when I can buy one for $3,000 and literally then like let people borrow it, run it for people, do events, charge them $500, something like that. So that's kind of like one of my things. Again, like I said, I focus in on events. That's my vibe. I do not do cold calls. I'm not a phone call person that way. I'm mostly, like I said, smart plans and then getting out there in the community and trying to be having a face, right? Type of events. So for me, one of my big events that I do is I will buy a box or two at, I don't even know sports, so whatever, right? Sports ball. I will buy an event. I will buy a box or two for an M's game. And then you get 20, it actually fits 25 people per box. You feed them, it comes with food. You get to watch an M's game. You buy them, they get a ticket. They get to be all fancy because they're in a box, and you're feeding them brisket. And I'll do it on a theme night. So 2 years ago, I did it for their Pride Night, and then last year I did it for Star Wars Night. And then how I also did it last year was I went in on it with my lender, and I said, Lauren, do you want to split a box, and we'll invite 40, 60 people and make it a whole thing. And we did. And she split it with me. It was great. And we we were like, okay, let's take our combined clients, your clients, my clients, friends, family, and just like put it all together. And it was we do that now. I think we've done M's box like 4 years in a row. I don't know. I don't watch the game at all. I'm just hanging out the whole time, right? But people either watch the game or hang out. People love to do it, and I get a really great response. Carrie, goodbye. I don't know if you already left. We'll get the recording. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll put my number in here too when we're done. Oh, Carrie, oh, bye. I saw you. So I was like, where's your name? I don't see you. Bye, Carrie. I'll see you on Thursday. Yeah, so and then my big event that I throw, and this is now like years in the making, but like, so I don't expect you to do this. I'm the board president for Eugene Pride. So I throw Eugene Pride. So like that, that was like started as a volunteer, and then I was the vendor coordinator, then I was the sponsor coordinator, now I'm the event coordinator, and I do the whole freaking event. But that's I do it because I'm sick and like enjoy it, I guess. But also like it gets my name out there. That's, I do it out of the kindness of my heart. I do it anyways, but it also happens to be that I'm a realtor, and you know what I mean? So that's like a big event that I do. A smaller event is I'm on a board, and we just do like a local, like a fundraiser once a year. So I'll be like, call Beerstein and be like, I'm gonna have a fundraiser here. I'm gonna get everybody 2 drinks, and then we're gonna get an auction. I'll call people, try and get raffle baskets. I love a raffle. So yeah, they can be like, I'll do a happy hour. So that's the other one that we've done specifically is Lauren and I have also done a happy hour at the Beerstein, right? So we were like, happy hour. We invite a bunch of people. So you invite like 100 people, and you're like, okay, we're gonna hang out. I'll get you 2 drinks, and I'll buy a bunch of food, and we get the like back corner of the Beerstein. Well, I'm not actually 200 people aren't gonna show up, thank God, because I couldn't afford that. But if you invite 200 people to be like, hey, I'm throwing this thing for you, great, that's a touch. That's a great thing to do. You're coming from care, you're coming from contribution. 20, 30 people show up, split between me and Lauren for like an hour, buying everybody a cider, and then we just buy like the food there, and it's just kind of like take as you go. It's a couple $100. It's really not that bad. So those are like smaller events that we'll do, and like I try to do 2 a year. I can get a little carried away. Hannah Reno in our office, her and her mom are on a team, and they do 4 events a year. And theirs are like, that is their thing. Like that's part of their business. Stephanie Coates in our office, she does 1 big one a year, and it is a pumpkin patch thing. So what she does is she gets postcards. She literally rents out. She doesn't rent out, but the pumpkin patch knows they're coming. She invites like 450 people. She gets a photographer. They set up a little thing. Her whole shtick is, come, I'll buy you a pumpkin. And then they also have a photographer to take their like family photos for the holidays. So then they take their like fall photos. So it's like a pretty cool thing. It's very successful for her. I know it's expensive, but she's obviously been doing this for way longer. So start with something like that, right? I wouldn't invite 400 people to mine, but you can do something like that. That's like one that she does every year. I think she literally did it last weekend. Mara has done. God, she does like a thing at Armitage Park, and I think it's just like a family barbecue. She'll like she'll get a snow cone. She'll get Sweet Bay to come make snow cones. She'll rent a bounce castle from Destination Events and grill burgers. So that's one of hers that she does. So yeah, just kind of like, make sure, like I said, I don't play baseball or even watch it at all or care, but like people love to go to a baseball game and sit in a box and eat brisket. I love it. It's fun. I do it 3 years in a row. People can't expect it now. Literally, Bill and Jerry were like, "When's your box thing this year?" And I was like, "In a couple of weeks, you'll get the thing." So that's one of the things that I do there. I'm gonna go in here really quick too, and just do a quick show you. And here's how I do digitally. Is like I said, I do a lot of smart plans. I love a smart plan. I'm gonna go in here and log into my, okay, I have 2 commands here. Here's my like one that has a bunch of smart plans, but so it's, my notifications are a little high on it, but it's okay. Let's see. Share. Okay, so this is like when you go, yeah, so this is my personal one, not my team one. I have a team one, so ignore my like notifications of 21 and stuff because I do go on here more often, but this is like the one that I use for examples. So this is like your command when you first go in, right? If you have smart plans set up, which I do, I will automatically get things assigned to me in my tasks. So like right here, this is for call Lauren, okay? Because it's my home anniversary plan. So this would literally, and it says, I click it. Tasks. So call Lauren, say happy home anniversary. When I do it, I check that. Do I want to add an activity? Yep. What type was it? A call. We talked. I left a voicemail. No answer. I say we talked, chatted about whatever. Now it's done. Easy. Moving on. And that was my forced follow-up fun right there. It was like, make this call because she's on a home anniversary plan. I have birthdays right here. So these are my birthdays coming up. So if I go into here and let's see, so right here, okay, so right here, this one says birthday card for Greg Mundia. And this is popping, I mean, this is, like I said, this is an example one. So this was past due. It was due 9/29. And this is telling me that his birthday is whatever day. And on 9/29, I need to send him out a card because then he should get this card a day or two before his birthday, right? Pretty smart, pretty cool. The trick is like just putting these people in your stuff, right? And then this one right here for him says, so birthday card due on 9/29, birthday call on 10/4, which I believe is actually his birthday or the day before. And that's to say, call him and say happy birthday. And then it says, make a birthday social post. And so either that's going onto their wall and saying happy birthday or making a post if you're like friends with them, like putting pictures up and saying happy birthday, I love you, that whole thing. But this is like, these are all from smart plans. If you get someone's information, so which one's me? Where's my test contact? Okay. So if you get someone's information right here, obviously you want their name, their phone number, and their email, right? That's the best thing. If you can get their address, that's great. Because if you put their address in, Command automatically knows what their neighborhood is. And then it will put them on a, what's called a, see, you can tell I like test my own smart plans on myself here. Monthly neighborhood nurture, right? And what that is you've all seen them. It's the email you get from an agent that says, hi, thinking about you. Here's your monthly update. These houses are for sale right now. These are the ones that have sold. Here's how much your house might be worth, right? And it's all just automatically done. And that just automatically happens once you put their address in there. So goal is to always try and like get an address, right? Also a birthday. So there's a birthday plan. The birthday plan is great because like I said, it tells you when to send them a card. It tells you when to call them. It tells you when to text them. The birthday plan is great. How do you get birthdays? Facebook. Great. Love that. How do you get birthdays for a client or somebody that you're not Facebook friends with? Every single time during any sort of transaction, whether it's a buy or sell or anything, early on, if we're meeting in the office, I will say, let me have your ID so I can make a copy of it for the file. Or if it's remote or whatever, I say, send me a picture of your ID so I can put it in the file. That's not a weird thing to ask as you're buying or selling a house. And literally the only reason I'm asking for that is to get their birthday. Or their legal name if it's hard to whatever. But I'm not kidding. The only reason I'm actually asking that is to get their birthday. And then literally I will put it. It's John's ID. It's my most recent buyer's ID on Friday. And then I stuck it right here. As soon as I put this in there, I will put this in the shredder. And now I have full legal name and birthday. And literally, it's like I said, mostly birthday. I even tell clients too, because I'll like send them a text or a birthday or a card and stuff. And they'll be like, how did you know it was my birthday? And I go, because I got your ID, stupid. Right. And they're like, oh yeah, duh, I bought a house. Of course you have my ID. You know my social security number practically, right? And I'll be like, actually, I don't, which is funny. Your lender does though. So yeah, like always get someone's birthday. Oh, and it's like, that's such a not weird ask, especially if you're coming to the office to be like, can I have your ID? Hey, it's kind of actually probably like you know what I mean? Like it's almost, it's good. It's a good thing. You're like, yeah, cool. Of course, you're building the file. Work on it. So yeah, always do that. As far as smart plans, how you get to them. So obviously you have everything in your context. You put everything in your context. Again, there's a whole smart plans class coming up. I also do smart plans and I enjoy them. So you get a little sneak peek. Here's all your contacts. Everybody's in there, right? This tab right here is smart plans. When you go in here, if you go to the library, that's where it shows you all the smart plans that are published. The featured ones are all verified. They're made by people. So like I have smart plans in there, which I'll show you and you can have some of them. These are all ones that other agents have made that are now featured. So Shannon Dager made this in June 23rd, 2020. The Keller Williams ones, these are great because these are all made by Keller Williams. So you know they're great and they work well, right? They're verified. The one that you have to have is birthday, right? Remember, every birthday, celebrate your contacts with comprehensive birthday reminder. If you hit view steps, it'll show you. So here's the 6 day, 4 touches, 4 steps. Create task, and then it says birthday card for that person's name. Make a call for that person's name, birthday social post, and then you send a text, happy birthday, right? Everybody should have that one. Monthly neighborhood nurture. This is the one where it just sends the email out. That's just like, hi, thinking about you. It's got your little face on it and it says what their neighborhood is and all that good stuff. And that one just goes out once a month. These technically, if you're trying to do like a 36 touch or a whatever, these technically would be part of that. I don't count these because I'm like, okay, a birthday is different, right? Like, and that's not, it's a separate thing. You can't really like build a birthday into a 36 touch smart campaign because it does a certain day. The birthday is more specifics, like, but that is part of it, right? So these two, birthday, neighborhood nurture, you gotta have them. I love home anniversary. So you put in command when you close, one of the things next to their birthday, it says home anniversary. So you put in their home anniversary, and this will remind you to send a gift and call them for their home anniversary. What I do for that is I got this one from my lender. This is what she does. I write a cute little thing. I have a bunch of scratchers. Depending on how many people are in the house that are adults, I'll be like, here's 2 scratchers. Happy anniversary. Hope you win $1 million. Split it with me, right? Easy. These are $1 a piece. It cost me $2. And it's not like I send 10 out of the day. I don't have that many deals. Open house follow-up. You should have an open house follow-up plan. You should, whatever that is for you. There's a billion in here. I tend to not be very aggressive. And sometimes I feel like the open house follow-up ones can be a little aggressive because this one is basically 21 days, 7 touches, 8 steps, right? So the cool thing about this is you can put it in there and it will just happen on its own. The trick is, so day 1 sends a text, day 2, it says send an email. Day 4, you're supposed to call them. Day 7, it sends another text to them, right? Day 11, make a call. So then say they respond to you and now you're making a call. Well, then you have to remember to turn off that plan because then on day 14, it's still going to be like, wanted to check in with you again, right? So that you have to manage. But I mean, it's proven it will work, right? And we all know that there's like some number where it's like you have to ask somebody 5 times to get 5 no's before you get a yes. And it's like, God, I hate asking people 5 times for something, but it's a thing. Thank you, Ken. Ken, I'm just gonna do this really quick before you guys leave. This is my name. This is my email. And if you have any questions, feel free to like call or text me or stop by the office. If you're in Eugene, I'm the one at the end of the hall by the Xerox machine. So there's my info too. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you. Definitely these Keller Williams Smart Plans, at least make sure you add the birthday and the monthly neighborhood nurture. And once you have a deal completed, add that home anniversary. If anything, those are your first 3 ones to start with, right? As you can see, I have tons of smart plans. So I don't do a 33 touch, like solid, just one smart plan. I have many, many smart plans that I put multiple contacts in. And then another one that's so easy and a no-brainer is holidays. Like a holiday, someone's gonna get mad at you for saying happy. Wow, I can't think of a holiday. Thanksgiving. um, so that's a big one. This is one that I like to use too. I have an agent referrals smart plan. So I put other agents on this plan, and it's every 30 days, essentially, they get an email from me that's like, or no, this is only quarterly. So every quarter, it'll send them an email to be like, hey, don't forget about me. If you have anybody that moves to Eugene or Oregon, I can help, right? And then on day 11, it will ask me to put a note in there if we talked, and then it just repeats it again. And it just repeats it again. And that just keeps you, again, like I'm not gonna spam I'm not gonna do like a 20-day rule on every other agent because they're all getting a lot of these. So mine's quarterly. I love referrals, they're fun. Holidays like crazy. I have another one, and here's where I'm kind of getting at this too, is I have a couple that I've made myself that I very much would say, you don't have to, but you can use mine. This one right here that I love is my first time buyer education. It is not fancy. It is not designed. It's not Canva. It is literally just an email. Okay. And I literally say, hi, Brianna, ready? We're going to get this going. I'm going to put you on a campaign. It's an email you're going to get from me literally every other day. And it's very wordy. We're going to talk about all of this up ahead, but this is just going to be like, here's how to buy a house. We're just starting fresh. And I'm going to overwhelm you with information, but now if you have a question, ask me, blah, blah, blah. They might never read it. But if they do, it's literally 10 emails that are written out like this that are like, do you know what credit is? Do you know what assets are? All right, day 2. Now let's get pre-approved. It's great. It's customized. It's got my name, my phone number, my signature on it. I have published this one. I'll show you the ones how you can find the published ones. Steal this from me, go in there, edit it, put your name in there, use this one. It's great. And I welcome you to do it. I stole this from a agent in New York. I changed it all to Oregon because New York has different rules. I just kind of judged it up to myself to make it sound like me, change the signature from his name to my name. I use it all the time. Any first-time buyer. And I love a first-time buyer too. I also built into Command is something called Twilio, I think. Twilio is a texting platform. So it sends automatic texts for me. They're not from my phone number, but they are from a number. It's a 541 number. And I got one that's 541-525. So it's kind of like my cell phone. And it's, most people realize it's a robot sending it, but I use Twilio too as like a birthday one. And I'll send them a happy birthday, but then it's like, they'll also get a birthday text from the business that's like, happy birthday, love you, love you, love you. Nick West, realtor, Team West Homes, right? So that's just like my birthday plan. So I have the birthday plan that Keller Williams does. And then that day on their birthday, I put them on my birthday email, which just sends an email and a text, boom, done automatically. So yeah, love those. Like I said, holiday, there's tons of them in there. How you find those, like I said, you go to the library and that's where all the smart plans are. Definitely read the notes. Some are not going to work for you. Some are like really specific to other states, but the Keller Williams ones are the best ones to start with because they're verified and they work great. If you want to steal some of mine, you just go in the library and search TWH. That's where I have my agent referral one, my buyer education one. I have a 4th of July, a Juneteenth. I have some holidays in there. I have my open house follow-up one. Labor Day, text and email. And like I said, how is that literally? It's just send the text. There's the text. Happy Labor Day. Automatically puts their name in. Hope you have a relaxing and safe long weekend. It's time. Is it time for fall already? Right? Hilarious. That's it. And it just sends from me. And I always put from these. I do put my name and signature on there because like the first time I sent one out, my friend was like, somebody said happy birthday to me. I don't know who it was. I'm like, that was me. That was mine. Okay, cool. So yes, go in there. And like I add ones more, and I actually have some more probably to add. So yeah, feel free to like when you dive on in. But yeah, like definitely steal my buyer education one, steal the referral one. Or just like look at them and you can. So if you add this to your smart plan, you have to click add and then you go into your smart plans and they're all there, and that's where you edit it. And you can at least just see like what I did and what I'm doing. You can make your own or copy mine and edit mine down, change it up, right? Pretty easy. Love a smart plan. Love a smart plan. You can make fancy, cute smart plans like, what's this one here? So this is my like Thanksgiving one, which the email is not just text. It's like, looks like this, right? How I do this. And right here, all these parts that say Market Center logo, agent first name, that is automatically filled in with my information. How you do that stuff is you go into your designs, your Canva designs. You can make the design, save it as an email, and then send it out as an email. There is something coming up talking about that. And if you have any questions or want to go over some or like need help with it, I'm more than happy to help you just on a one-on-one too, like just with smart plans. Something else, one more thing that I want to show you before I go here. And again, thanks for dealing with me and the rantings of myself. But I have one more thing that I want to show you. And I can send you this. I can't give you the editable one because I don't even have it anymore. I have a PDF and it's going to suck when I have to update it because it was actually really annoying to make, but I'll give you mine and you can kind of like steal from it and make your own. This is my open house sign-in sheet. I don't know if, I'm not breaking any rules, let me tell you that. But I'm definitely being aggressive with it. And this is how I do my sign-ins because it can be kind of hard and intimidating to get people to sign in for your open house. So this is what I do. Hopefully you can see it. So how I do it, oops, I hit print, Zoom, is I fully call it the seller required sign-in. So right there, the seller is requiring that you sign in. That, right? I mean, why not? Right? Thanks for coming in. We're excited to show you this home. Please note the details we shared below the following local national real estate guidelines. Visitor intention of your property. This also kind of covers your buyer representation agreement, right? The agent does not represent the visitor. Communication with the agent open house is for the benefit of a seller. Communication with agents not confidential, right? If visitor writes an offer on the property, agent will disclose if agent's broker. If agent wants to be represented. So it's very official. It's not just a sign-in sheet. It's like got words to it. Read them if you want or don't, but you see those ones at the very top, it says seller required sign-in. Great. And then it's just straight up name, email, phone number. Are you working with an agent? Yes, no. If you are, write down who they are. And people will be like, okay, actually I'm not. And you're like, yeah, okay, because you know your agent's name. Anybody that says, oh, I don't remember their name, you're not working with an agent. Current needs, looking to buy right now, just browsing, plan about the near, interested in selling. Boom. Now you have a lead you can follow up with. If that person is working with an agent, they say yes, and they write Sarah Buchanan, then you better believe me, at the end of that open house, on my way home, I'm calling Sarah Buchanan and I go, oh, guess what? I saw your clients, Mark. Did they love it? Ba ba ba. Do. And that's just, now you're just impressing other agents and you know what I mean? So like, and I said Sarah Buchanan because Sarah Buchanan and I both do the same thing. And she has this open house sign up sheet and she called me yesterday saying my clients went to her open house. Awesome. I will send that out to you for sure. But yeah, so this is one that like, and I'm sure this comes up and this will come up, or if you haven't talked about this already, having an open house sign up sheet, make one. This is how I make mine. I've had many over the years. This is the one that I've had the most success with. It's pretty, but it's not too much, right? And it looks very official, and it is, and it has disclosures on it. and it's 2 pages long, not back to back, do 2 separate pages, put it on a clipboard. And then what you can do too is if it's even like weird, then you can like do that thing where you take a little like sticky note and just go boop, and pop it over the top one, like an escrow person. So you're not like other people can't see whoever or whatever, or cut it up in strips and put them in a thing. Just hand it to the person, be like, here's your sign in, here's the disclosure, right? But this is the one that I use and I love it. And then make a guide. So make yourself a buyer's guide and a listing guide. Buyer's guide is easy. I would make that first, right? Because most of us are going to be working with buyers right now as newbies, and there's a lot of buyer's guides out there. In fact, my buyer's guide is Mara's, whose was a copy of Linda, who was a copy of blank, right? So it's easy to get a buyer's guide and you just kind of make it your own. There's built-in ones in Command that in Designs that you can just fill in the blanks and do it all your own. I don't have a buyer's guide on this computer because issues, but I do have, I'll show you, and this took me, I finished this in 2025, right? So like, it's like an evolving thing. It's always like it's like a living document, right? But it's like, I got to make a buyer's guide. And I finally finished it and made my like ultimate buyer's guide or my listing packet in 2025. It took me forever to do it, but now I have it and I won't need to touch it for a while. And if I need to do anything, it'll just be little updates. This is mine. Like I said, start making one and build on it. Mine, like I said, took me forever to build it. And how I do this is this is actually one here. It's actually kind of crazy. I'm kind of, I guess, a crazy person. So what I do is I have this. I have this pre-listing checklist. I share my screen here. Share. So I have a pre-listing checklist, which this is internal. So this is in the office, right? And this is everything I go over when I'm like about to have a listing, or everything I need to do when I have a listing. The thing I have is called the envelope. What that is so say as soon as I get a call to talk about a listing and I get the address, I have an intake form. Let me just share my whole screen instead of like each pop-up here. Desktop. So I have like these are all my docs here. So I got my pre-listing checklist right here. And this is just everything I do. Once I have that, I do something called drop off the envelope. So as soon as I make an appointment for the day, I make what's called the envelope. The envelope is an envelope, and it has a hello letter, a cover sheet, my bio, my team bio, my flyers in there, Narfax. This is everything that I put in there. And a thank you card, I put a seller questionnaire. That is this. Whoa. So zoom out on that. So this is my buyer's packet right here. So this is like, goes in that envelope with everything else. And this is its own thing. They open it up, it's bound together. I use the binder in the office. It says what's inside. I give them a blank CMA, county records, the timeline of what we're gonna do, seller disclosure form, and then stuff about me. Page 1, fluff, it's me, it's my bio, it's my professional bio. Here's what I offer as their listing agent. This was so annoying to make, at one point it was all words. And then one day I was like, I got time now to put icons on it, right? And this is also like kind of a copy of somebody that gave it to me. I have my team on here. So here's my team. You may notice some of these people. Tammy Sue is part of my team, right? Ashley Gallo, my office, the front desk person, she's part of my team. Lauren's my lender. Kelly's my escrow person. Looks great. I got testimonials in here. I have my professional resume. So this is my professional resume with a bio, but this is my full resume. I have the fact sheet. This is literally nothing, but it's just if people know about the settlement and how we do buyer's agent commissions, this is a great talking point. I have this in here. I tell them to fill this out. So this is homework for them. That's why I go drop it off at their house. And I say, read all this, go through it. And then when I come for the appointment, we talk about it. So here's all this. Literally, this is like total cheat sheet. I'm literally being like, write me the names and age of your kids, right? So easy. And they do it because it's like homework for them. What's your favorite restaurant? You know why I asked that? Because one of the gifts I give them in their closing gift is a gift card to their favorite restaurant so that the day they move, they don't have to cook dinner. I bought them dinner. And then that's also how I do get a hold of their social media. If their like name isn't their social media, now I can find them on Instagram, right? A lot of Instagram people, it's not their name. Hobbies and interests, that helps with like that custom gift that I might get them or just something to talk about. All their information, look, I can put their birthday right here. So if we're doing a listing, that's there. Here's their home information. I literally made this from scratch. Again, it took freaking forever, but it looks cute. I know, yeah, brutal. I did it with Pages. So if you're a Mac person, Pages, home information. And this is like info that this is for them to fill out, right? So this is for them to fill out so that I'm not having to ask them this and then we can like go over it because it's already done. So who's your electric company? What's the average bill? Age of the systems, what type of fuel, when does your trash come, all that stuff, what's in the HOA. I have a page that asks them, what did you do to the house? Tell me everything you've done to the house. Did you do any of these things over the last year? What's excluded from the listing? Are you keeping the refrigerator? Are you keeping the hot tub? I got a list, another page. Here's some things to prep your home. Here's 20 common things you can do to prep your home. It's all just stuff to do. And it's like literally like I made a checkbox. I said, check these off if you want to do them. You don't have to, but it'll help. And then this is where I write down what we need to do, right? So this is, we talked about it. And I say, okay, what we need to do is we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. We got to get that done before we list. These are the items I need to list. 2 keys, 1 for the lockbox, permits, blah, blah, well reports, any of that. HOA information, any notes. I tell them to finish the sheet, the special features, the disclosure form, which are in here. Then I go into marketing. So I say, this is what I do for you. So every week you'll get one of these from me. This is not automatic. I do this every week for my listings. It's work, but it's doesn't take that long once you get it going, right? You just pull numbers off. And then this is an email. Here's the questionnaire that I also have them fill out. So this is just discussions and it helps me out. So what's their motivation? Why do they want to do all this? What's more important, price or quick? You're selling experience. So this is how I kind of like chameleon myself for them, right? So what are most important to you? Negotiator, communication. How often do you want me to communicate? Have you ever sold a house before? Do you know what a realtor is, right? What do you love most about your home? This is like where you get that emotional part. My seller required sign-in. This is in my packet because I talk about this because why wouldn't a seller want to know who's going into their house? And then this is internal in the office. So here's my pending. Once we go pending, my list of stuff. This just stays with me in the office, so I know what to do. And then this is my pre-list that, like I said, has everything I need to take to the appointment, everything I put in the envelope, and everything in order of how I do it. And then the last page it's annoying, it's sideways. It's a example timeline. So it's like, if we list this day, we could do this by this. It's just kind of like, it's just a timeline to be like, in a perfect world, we could do like this, this is when we take pictures. And that, like I said, I practiced this so many times. I made this from scratch. Like I said, a mega agent who is in Seattle made this. This is like his, I copied his. He gave it to me, but he was like, make it your own, right? You need to like, because you can't just copy it. It doesn't really work, right? And then like brand it. Like I have my name like the bottom, you see, I got my thing on the bottom, each page, at the top of each page. So I like fully branded it. And literally like, I guarantee you, nobody, the amount of people that are doing this or have this is so little. And if I walk into a house, I assume I'm going to get the listing because I say, check this out. And look how prepared I am. I dropped off an envelope for you, right? Yeah, that's basically that. And then I also have I haven't finished this yet, but I did just decide the other day I was going to add my gift list on there so I can even like make sure I have all my gifts ready to go. But yeah, that's my listing packet. And not to tangent, but that's, like I said, that's just an example of things where like, if you practice, right? And again, like this just helps me, right? And a buyer's packet is essentially the same thing. A buyer's packet is probably more an ad of you than anything else. especially like my buyer's packet. Because to be real, when I started, it was like, you have a buyer's packet. It's like, what are your dreams? What do you want? And it was COVID. So it was like anything I can afford. You know what I mean? So like it was different back then, where now you can actually be like, okay, like how much do you want to spend? How many bedrooms do you want? Because literally when I started, it was like, let's write 20 offers. But that, like I said, that so all in all, that's my business. That's how I do mine, right? Those are my systems. I have my packets that are paper that I take with me and drop off, and I have my smart plans, and that is how I follow up and keep those going there. I the trick is keeping it and following up. A thing to jumpstart you, and it's stressful and intimidating because it's going to add a bunch of leads. I always tell people how many leads or how many contacts are in your command, and people will be like 40. And I go, okay, now open up your phone and open your contacts and scroll to the very bottom. How many are in there? And people are like 750. And you're like, cool. So there is a command app, or there's a KW command app that you can download, and you can fully now just import all of your contacts into command. It's intimidating. It's stressful because you'll literally put in Hollywood Video in downtown Portland that obviously hasn't existed for 10 years. But then you can kind of like clean up from there and just be like, here's how I'm going to dive in. That's what I did. And like, I literally, when I say I used to run Hollywood Videos in 2007, and I had every Hollywood Video in Oregon's number in my command. So I had to kind of clean that up. But you can do that. And that's a great way to start with it too, because you know your mom and uncle and family members and sister are in there. But yeah, I very much, I'm a big proponent of smart plans. That is how I do my leads. That's how I deal with my leads. And like I said, there's a sneak peek. I'm pretty sure there's a smart plan coming up like this week or next week or whatever, but everybody's are kind of different too. So that's why I like to share mine, because I also customize mine. And like I said, go in there, steal some of mine. Definitely do the birthday one. Do open houses, make a sign-in sheet for open houses. People do open houses all the time and then don't actually do anything when they're at the open house. And then all they did was just basically marketed and opened a house for another agent. You know what I mean? Like the amount of times that people are like, this guy did an open house and get anything from it. And it's like, yeah, totally. It's hard to get people to sign in. It's hard to, you know, that really helps a lot. Yeah, that's me. Thanks for like letting me rant for the last 40 minutes about just stuff. Does anybody have any questions or anything? I appreciate you all.
I did have a question.
Yeah.
So as far as like hosting an open house, like when you're hosting it for another agent, like you can, when you do like social media posts and basically like saying, hey, I'm hosting this open house, do you have to include the listing agent on that also, or?
No.
Okay.
Some people do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Like I wouldn't take this is what's funny. So that guy that gave me his packet, he told me that he used to take their sign down and put his sign up because you could do that in Seattle. And then he also, fun fact about this guy, in King County, if you're holding an open house, you're only allowed to put up 6 signs, because this guy literally would have his husband drive around and put up like 30 signs for an open house. And then literally it is a King County city ordinance now that you can only do 6 because of this guy. And also how this guy started, he's, like I said, he's a mega agent. He doesn't even deal with houses that are like less than $1 million, which I guess probably isn't that hard in Seattle, but still, he started the reason I like became kind of friends with him, and he's also terrifying to talk to, is because we had a very similar like start. Like he came from like corporate retail, during COVID. And so he completely started his business and did all of it from open houses his first year. And now he's like a mega agent that I have his number. I have never called or texted him because I don't be scared to. I've only been like in passing, been like, hey, you. But yeah, so with open houses, what I'll do is I'll just post, like I'll do a story and be like, open house, I have a bunch of signs of my own that are like, I have like, so I have a bunch of pre-branded, like branded signs for me that I bought. So I'll put up as many as I can. Sometimes I'll do an open house with my lender. And so I'll be like, okay, well, I'm going to go there first. I'll get it going. And then I'll have her run out and she'll put up like a dozen signs. And then make posts. But no, you don't have to be in your post or anything like that. Some agents do. And maybe that's just to be friendly, to be like courtesy of this person. But you don't have to. Yeah. Again, thank you all for hanging out and listening. Like I said, it's funny because I've been like doing it for a while, and I kind of started teaching this class, which I'm like, oh yeah, I love talking about leads. And then instead of a 3-hour class, I'm like, well, I'm gonna make it like an hour, but then I'm also gonna do an hour of like what I like to do, and it's just kind of evolved into that because now, yeah. So, but like I said, now is your chance. Head out there, get some leads, make that happen. But if you have any questions, seriously, call me, text me, come to my office. I'm here a good amount of time. Or if you just like want to have a meeting or a one-on-one, or you want me to like show you some stuff with Command or like Smart Plans, and I'd be more than happy to. That's the cool thing also about Keller Williams, just so you know. I've only been with Keller Williams, but I know a lot of agents. And the cool thing about us KW agents is like, there's enough business to go around, right? So like when I tell people, it's like, I do events, and it's like, what events? It's like, I don't want to tell you, but no, it's like, I'll tell you because like, that's what I do. Keller Williams agents are very like, we'll share our secrets. We'll talk about what we really do. You know what I mean? So I'm an open book with that stuff. I also have a little mini library of like weird lead stuff if you want to borrow, like social media stuff and all that. So, because my lender loves to send her book of the week to me. But yeah, like I said, if you have any questions, reach out. I'm here in the Eugene office, or I'm on Zoom or my computer, so we can chat. And I wish you all the best of luck. And like I said, this is a crazy business to be in, but it's really cool. My friends tell me all the time, I don't know how you do your job. And I go, I don't even, like my best friend Chelsea, she works at Optiv. She's an inside sales rep for tech. I don't know what that means. Too late to ask, been there for 10 years. And she's like, your job's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm literally, if two of the same clients, two of the same houses next to each other, nothing's the same. That's the best part. So anyways, embrace it. And like I said, nice to meet you all. And Jake, I'll see you on Thursday. All right. Bye. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you, Nick.
Have a good one.